Are Ono Kankanfo of Yoruba land, Are Gani Adams, has revealed shocking events that would happen in Nigeria come 2020. The former leader of a faction of the Oduduwa People's Congress, OPC, disclosed that Nigeria will be sanctioned by world bodies in the coming year. Well, 2020 is just some few hours. This was just as he foresaw the President Muhammadu Buhari will throw more former governors and members of opposition political parties in jail. And well, in my own personal opinion, I do not mind that governors, political opponents all end up in jail, as this present party will also end up in jail. They will also end up in jail. So it's more or less like clearing the dirt. One way or the other, there is a way things work. If it puts opposition parties in jail, governors in jail, and all of a sudden things turn around again, and it begins to put people that are in this APC party, even the chairman, and the leaders of APC, the top leaders of APC, they begin to end up in jail. Party makes no difference. Opposition makes no difference in Nigeria, as they are all birds of the same feather. If all of them can end up in jail in perpetuity, maybe things will turn around in Nigeria, as all of these people from the north to the south, they are the ones that are, plus the previous administrations, plus the military generals, every one of them, they are involved in why the country, Nigeria, is what it is till date. Now, the only thing that I'm not in support of is sectional or a kind of obedience to the rule of law that is selective. Not that you will see someone that everyone can actually see and you can point fingers to their criminal activities, all because the person is from the northern part of Nigeria, you keep quiet and you allow that to go. Then that is a problem, and that is the problem with Buhari's administration. So Gani Adams, in his words, say, I don't foresee any magic. There won't be something different from what happened in 2019. I foresee a situation where the president would be looking forward to clamp down on his opposition. The Arab was quoted by the Sun newspaper. I foresee a situation whereby the president would want to jail most of the governors that have trials. I foresee a situation that the president will want to use anti-corruption to cow down most of the opposition and those who do not believe in his regime. I foresee a situation where new party may come out within 2020 and 2021. I foresee the two major party will break and new party will surface. Well, we all know that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there is this story I brought you guys all of this, that he's trying to push for that position as a president, because for him, that is the pinnacle of success. He feels that he has achieved the greatest in life by being the president. But it's a difficult terrain for him, because the Northerners are not ready to bow down, and they are ready to use just everything to get themselves into that position. So either they are the vice president and Hausa man the vice president, either that and the Yoruba man, or they find an Igbo man finally to be the vice president, while they, the South, everything from the South, it is going to go one way or the other. So we don't know what's going to happen, as these people are very, very, very terrible groups of people. They are satanic, and there's nothing they cannot do to get themselves into that position. And I always say that if a Southeasterner gets into that position and does not call for a referendum, a vote to peacefully leave Nigeria, then that person will not be forgotten in history. So these are the things we need to look into. There are a lot of people that are kind of they are governors right now. Some of them, they belong to some party, either the opposition or the present ruling party. And when you see their words and what they say, they are not speaking in line with the struggle of Biafra. So I wouldn't know if we can trust any. So it's going to be a bit difficult to trust any of those people when they mount that position, that podium, that seat It's going to be very difficult. So he said, I foresee our judiciary, some of them standing their feet. And if you want to remove me, remove me. I cannot continue this way. Talking of the economy, he said, I foresee international community coming against our government. If care is not taken, sanction would come from international community. From what happened in 2019, the international communities were not pleased with the process of our democracy. I foresee a sanction from the United States of America. I foresee a sanction from the European Union. Now, not see any of those things. That the EU, the United States of America had issues with the kind of democracy that we practice, and even the president is so vocal when it comes to this. He said he's not so happy with the process of democracy in Nigeria. He said it is too slow for his own liking. He would have wanted to put some people in jail. And if this man is not selective when it comes to this, I would have been so happy. It means that the mandate that he claimed that he was going to fulfill is doing just that. I would have been so happy if he locked up the military generals and every one of them. It would have been a very nice one in Nigeria. It would have been remembered forever for good. But unfortunately, Buhari only came to fulfill the mandate that he has for himself personally, and that is to give more credence, more power to the northern part of Nigeria. That's what I see. Now, some say, oh, Buhari, this is what you're doing. The north has filled up all the positions in Nigeria. Is this because you are kind of pushing forwards for the next game? I wouldn't know. Well, I think from the look of things, he claimed that he wants to put in certain people that he wants to work with. So when you look at all of this, it simply shows that Nigeria is not a country, it is a tribal contraption where people are more comfortable with where they think they are from. He puts in Awusa there. He feels that the Awusa will be more loyal to him. That is the big problem with that country. That country needs to break apart because we have not gotten past these tribal issues. We have not taken the interest of the people at heart. The interest of the people, humanity is not so important to a lot of them. They are more concerned about sectional aggrandizement, how they feel good within themselves that my people are there, my person is there. It doesn't make a difference if an Igbo man steps there, if he doesn't do the right thing. When I say the right thing, I'm talking about abrogating this Jaundice constitution. I'm talking about calling for a referendum, like I said. It doesn't make a difference. Anyone that's sitting there and does not realize that they need to do the right thing in the right way, in the proper way, at the right time, then it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. It doesn't make a difference because it is their own family and their own children and their friends that benefit from this, and it's simply called nepotism. So, he said if the federal government does not manage our international relations well, the crisis between the government and the international community will be worse than military, because a statement that came from the spokesperson of the president that we are not answerable to the US, Britain, and European Union, that statement will generate a lot of annoyance because these are powerful forces in the global scene. Well, we are not answerable truly to the United States. Nigeria is supposed to be a sovereign nation, but then Nigeria does not exist. Nigeria has expired since January 2014. So if they are calling themselves a sovereign nation, like, yes, we are a sovereign nation, Nigeria is a sovereign nation, United States have their rules and regulations, they don't call us to coordinate. But the United States, Britain, and European Union, they are powerful countries. As a result of their own evil activities in other terrains, in other countries, United States they've destroyed a lot of countries. Britain have destroyed even more. They have destroyed even more. They have oppressed, they've enslaved, they've stolen. And the EU, some of the countries in the EU, not all of them, they've also been part of this genocide, criminal activities, stealing, looting of other nations. Even France is still doing that today, and the Francophone countries are trying to get out of it. So their power came out of how they oppress other people and how they've gathered a lot of weapons to make sure that they remain relevant on the scene. We know all of that, so we cannot rule out every of those things. The European Union, some of the countries, in fact, all of the countries in the European Union are benefiting from the activities, satanic, evil activities of their predecessors and even some of their great-grandchildren, what they are still doing with some African countries. So we know all of that. So it is okay that a country will say we want to stand as our own country, but then that country should also be able to prove that they are practicing true democracy. And that is not what is happening in Nigeria. So But then we need to look at certain things. How is it that these people are powerful? How come they are powerful? That's because they've been able to embed themselves in certain things. For example, your ATM card is controlled by MasterCard, Visa, and the rest of the other monetary um, companies. And these countries are Western countries. So simply put, they can shut down, that's what they call sanction, they can shut down the use of these cards. If they think that it is effective, it's going to cause a lot of issues, they shut it down. That is why Africa needs to come together, but they have not even gotten it right. They've not gotten it right themselves. They need to come together, sit down, and be able to put things right for themselves. Imagine everyone is on Facebook. Your data is stored outside of your country. It can be used. That's why they have Cambridge Analytics that take data and they use it and sell to political opponents, just to use it to sway politics, elections, polls, and all of that. So these are things that we also need to look into. So Africa have decided not to grow in that line. They always look onto, because some people have been fooled. Church has also been part of this. Church have also been part of this. They've sold us the idea of a Caucasian Jesus Christ. So a lot of people, their mindset is kind of not working well. They see themselves more of an inferior person. But then when you look at people that have performed greatly in science and technology, Africans are there abroad. It's just that their names are not being recognized because at home we are not actually standing firm. So just look at IT sector. When you look at all of the social, media and the rest of that, why is Africa not having their own hub where they can have information data also stored and worked upon? Imagine Africa is just, some francophone countries are just trying to get away from France. What a shame. Sometimes I look at them, it's as if they are cursed. But when I look at it, I realize that many of the leaders that are that they found themselves in that position through the help of some of these foreign powers and through the help of their own wicked people around themselves. These people are the reasons why Africa has remained in that position that they are. A country rich with natural resources. There's no resources in the West. They don't have that kind of resources, but everything is in Africa. But then we have human resources, we have all forms of resources, yet they will not get it right. So he said, I foresee sanction coming to the government if they do not manage their international relations well. Committing blocking our citizens from traveling to their countries. There is an approval of budget of $30 billion. Already Nigeria owes about 25 billion. The calculation of 30 billion will almost get to 11 trillion. Definitely, the money of the federal government is asking for, if the National Assembly grants the request, Nigeria will be owning almost 36 billion naira, and a country with that kind of debt is in a bad shape. So guys, that is just what it is. That is just the revelation, the vision, or whatever it is of Are Onokanka for the leader of OPC, Gani Adams. So if you're not a member of this channel, let us grow it together by you simply tapping on the subscription button and the red notification icon bell below. It will alert you whenever videos are uploaded. Thanks for stopping by.